call. Start out with all down. Nobody's looking particular. What is it that you told them, or did you tell them that?
Just told them to keep staying the course. A lot of basketball left. We said that before the game. They're going to come out and play with a lot of physicality and force. We didn't have that at all in the first quarter, also in pretty much the third quarter too, to start. But we're just staying the course and just chipping away one possession at a time. I just keep screaming that to them, in the middle of the game. It's loud in there, just one possession, keep making winning plays. Luckily, we made a run there in the second quarter, cut it to 7 at halftime. Credit the Timberwolves. They came out with force again, took a big lead, third quarter, but we just kept chipping away. We can't expect to play like this every single night, try to come from a deficit. We got to set a tone earlier in the first quarter, but really proud of the group stepping up. We had to play a lot of different lineups. Luckily, the coverages, we didn't have to do too many crazy things, but a lot of different guys stepped up tonight.
Wait for the mic. Yeah.
Is this an example of why depth can still matter in the playoffs? Because Ja, Dylan, and Jaren, the box score, that they didn't play as well as they typically do, and you still found a way to win.
Yeah, I mean, obviously foul trouble early, no rhythm early. Our bench, I say it all the time, we're a deep team, next man up, if someone's in foul trouble. Tyus Jones was phenomenal, especially in that third quarter, start of the fourth quarter, just the ball movement, knocking down big shots, steal, rebound. Brandon Clark doing Brandon Clark things, running the floor, getting to his spots, big time offensive rebound late in the fourth quarter, and huge free throws late in the fourth quarter. And then, Dez catches fire too, so we can definitely get better in a lot of areas, but when we're clamping down on defense, doing what we're supposed to do, we're playing with the physicality, the urgency, we're playing the unselfishness on offense. We can go on big runs, but we've got to be better for 48 minutes.
Taylor, you came back, you trimmed a 26-point deficit to 7, and then you came back from a 25-point deficit. You hear people around the NBA really say, when you come back like that, it kind of takes the energy out of you, when you finally get to that hump, but you basically did it twice. How?
One possession at a time. I don't know. I mean, the grit of our team, the competitiveness, the togetherness. I thought the spirit of the group was phenomenal. We keep challenging them just to continue to have that swag. It's hard when you go down 20 plus and they're just throwing haymaker after haymaker. They're getting all the winning plays. They're hitting all the shots. Their defensive activity was unreal tonight. I haven't seen a team in a long time play with that physicality, those rotations. I mean, every time we tried to spray the ball out, there was someone on us at the 3-point line. They were taking our first, second, third option away. But once we started getting some stops, getting some juice going, getting some pace going. And then we actually were poised. I mean, we were frantic. We couldn't even execute in the half court. Once we started having poise in the, fourth quarter, made a difference for us, but don't know how we really did it. Luckily, we had the juice, we had the spirit, we had the resolve for 48 minutes to come back from 2 huge deficits.
I thought that was pretty, you don't know how you did it. In the end, you don't know how you did it. There has to be, you can chip away, but there has to be a certain amount of resolve maybe built up over the season that you can get it done at the end as you keep chipping away?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously playoff basketball is completely different than regular season basketball. I'm trying to remember the last time we were maybe down 20 plus and came back from a victory, but we've been down before in games. Our guys usually have level heads. Tonight, we were kind of all over the place. We'd lost our head at times. So this was a unique experience for our group, to be able to kind of just recalibrate, recenter ourselves. But the dialogue on the court, I could see the guys staying connected. The bench fully engaged. The timeouts were super positive. Everyone was locked in, just trying to how do we get through this? Just keep chipping away, one possession at a time. Dialogue about matchups, coverages, playing with a pass, execution. I was like, man, these guys are steering the ship. This is great. We just got to continue to do it together. And luckily we broke through in the first half, went down, broke through in the second half. Just credit to our guys. I guess it's, the character of the team.
Can you talk, I guess, a little bit specifically about Desmond? He was part of both comebacks. I mean, he was hitting threes in the first one. I think he had 9 points in one stretch there. And then he was a big part of the second one too.
Yeah, I mean, just when we're playing with the pass, we keep talking about the energy of the ball. Anybody can be a recipient. Obviously, we've got so much faith in him. Off the ball, when he's involved in actions, that when the ball finds him, he missed some open looks tonight too. But when he knocked down those shots, those were momentum builders for us. I thought his defensive activity was really good too. I mean, obviously stretched him to 40 plus minutes tonight. To him to continue to have that endurance, to be able to make the defensive stops, make the big time shots, drive it and kick it as well. It's not always about shot making. Really impressed with Dez's performance.
Taylor, going back to you don't really know how you did it, but it did seem like in the second quarter and the fourth quarter, you figured some things out, whether it was with lineups or just the way you were playing. What do you think you figured out, whether it was going with Tyus there in the fourth quarter or, turning to Brandon more as the game went on? What do you think you figured out?
Well, I mean, I'd like to think that, the first half comeback didn't break us. It kept our spirits intact. And then, when they went on their great run to start the third quarter and we had to use timeouts early and foul trouble and bringing the depth in, as we talked about with Brandon and Tyus, we knew we weren't going to break again. We were just going to find a way to chip away. Luckily, we had a good ending of the third quarter, trim it to, I think, 16. And then, fortunately enough, we were able to execute coming out of the timeout. I think we go on. The coaches told me it was like a 19-2 run. I just focused on the first three possessions that we were able to get 3 stops, 3 scores, get to single digits. It didn't break us.
Coach, what specifically about your defense impressed you the most? They scored 95 points on 97 possessions. This is one of the best offenses in the NBA, and they had multiple 20-point leads on you. Just what about the defense?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the 3-point line, they still got open looks. I thought our rotations were solid. I mean, I told the guys early in the game, I said, I think our defense is actually pretty good right now. And we were down 12-0. It was more about our offense. We were just frantic. We weren't moving the ball. We weren't getting a piece of the paint. Obviously, they were taking away the paint. We were forcing shots. I thought our defensive edge was there, and especially when they were throwing haymakers, making big time shots, second chance points hurt us in the first half, but not so much in the second half. So luckily the guys know the themes of this series. We just stay consistent in that area. I don't think we're going to hold them to 95 points moving forward, but it's just a credit to the guys having activity, even when your offense was significantly struggling. That's a test of the character of the group to continue to chip away. When we started, I think we ended the first half with 10 stops in a row we charted. I mean, that's huge. That builds that momentum to be able to have it single digits at halftime. So luckily they just stayed the course.
What did you notice about, Ja Morant's just resolve in this game? It seemed like every time he drove the ball, you talked about their defensive activity, but it seemed like every time he drove, there were multiple bodies in the paint. What did it say about his resolve to finish the game the way he did and, to get teammates involved the way he did?
Yeah, I mean, obviously as a team, I know he'll be the first one to say, he can play better. He was even saying it after the game. Give that guy a lot of credit. 7 turnovers. The team, we had 18 turnovers. They scored 28 points off of our turnovers, and it was multiple. We kept saying they're shifting, they're coming, they're stripping, they're blocking from behind. Just make the simple play. But then, like in the fourth quarter, once he got off the ball, I think someone had a big time corner 3. Then it just opens up, so now he can go finish at the rim. So just find that balance. Luckily, we were seeing it, but again, we just got to find more consistency on the offensive end with how we've got to play. So I kept saying, hey, we had 29 assists in game 2 because we were moving the ball tonight. Their defensive activity was phenomenal. Even when we did move it early, they were rotating out. Can we move it again? Can we move it again? Can we move it again to try to break them down? It's going to be a great film to watch. See how we got to get better for game 4.
Thanks, Coach.
Great. Thanks, everybody.